Did that mess your screen up? Can you still see me big screen? Okay, fantastic. Can you see this paper? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through this fairly quick. Some of you already have it. We're going to make sure that everybody's got it. So on your desk, you should have this handout. Sophia, do you have this handout? Handout that's there. So.
Oh, that we did some of it last week.
Yes. All right, now you can go on that handout. All right. Can you see her? That's it. You got yours there. Sophia's name for that. Okay, so if we look at this, we see a graph. The thing that we see is we see distance from school in miles, and we see time of day. Okay, so what is my title for this? Distance versus time. So whatever I'm doing, you need to do also. Okay, everybody good? So it says a distance time graph shows class 8A's journey to the zoo. They stopped for a picnic on their way to the zoo. Okay. What time did the bus leave the school? So you look here where it starts at. What time was that? 9 o'clock. So put 9 o'clock. What time did it stop for the picnic? What we know that this is what? They're traveling, right? This line straight across means they have stopped, hasn't it? And here too also, right? So what time? If you go and you take your pencil and go down, it looks like 10 o'clock, doesn't it? So go ahead and do 10 o'clock. How far have they traveled when they stopped for the picnic? Well, they started at 0. You're exactly right, ma'am. And here's where they stopped. And we're going to label this 50. So let's put 50 miles. How long did they stop for? Well, 10 to 10:30. How long is that? 30 minutes? Sounds good. 30 minutes. What time did they arrive at the zoo? So how do we know when they arrived at the zoo? Right here, right? This is the zoo. What time? 11:30. Yes, ma'am. How far is the zoo from the school? Well, let's go across. Does that look like 90? Okay, 90 miles, 11:30, 30 minutes, 50 minutes, 10, and 9. Does everybody have that? Okay. Now, if I slide my paper up, can you see it? How far do I have to slide it up so you can see it? A little bit more right here? Okay. Okay, Sophie, I'll get you one. Okay. Now we're going to do the next section. It says, Emma traveled to her grandmother's house and back. The distance time graph shows information about her journey. Okay. If we look, distance from home versus time, right? Okay. What time did Emma begin her journey? Yeah, let's say 7:30. That looks good. How far was Emma away from home at 8? So if we go up to 8, right? And we go across, how far away was she? 15, correct. 15 miles. And listen, it's all about drawing on your paper. How long did Emma stay at her house, stay at her grandmother's house? Remember the line that goes straight across, right? is where she stayed. So let's draw our lines down. So how long did she stay? Well, she got there about 8:30, right? And she left about 10:15. So how long was that? Well, 8:30, 9:30 is an hour. 10:30 is too much, so it's an hour and how many minutes? 45. Very good. What time did Emma leave her grandmother's house? 10:15 is what we said, right? How far was Emma from home at 11:45? Well, that's 11:30. Here's in between. Here's where she was. Let's go across. So how far away was she from home? In between, right? Can we say 7 miles? 7 miles. How far did Emma travel total? Now we're talking about travel, right? So she went up to the top here, correct? That was 40 miles. And then she came back home, right? Here to here is how many? 10, right? And then the rest of the way, so we can say 40 plus 40. So the total miles she traveled was 80 miles. Remember, this is distance. Got it? Everybody good so far? Thumbs up. Fantastic. Now we're going to flip our paper over. Can you see the top of mine? Okay. So, the train traveled from Milton to Redview, stopped for 30 minutes, and then traveled to Leaks. So, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say this is going to Leaks. So, just for my mindset, this right here is Milton, right? Well, no, Milton's down here, isn't it? This up here is Redville. Okay. And he waited, yep. From a Melbourne to Wellville. Okay, let's see. The train from Milton to Redville stopped for 30 minutes. Up. Is that better? I want to make sure. The train traveled to Milton, from Milton to Redville. Then it stopped for 30 minutes. So that, and then it went to Leaks. So I think I'm good. How long did it take the train to travel from Milton to Redville? So it started at what, 6? Ended at what time? About 7. How long do you think that is?
2 hours.
5 to 7 is 2 hours. Very good. Yes, ma'am. We flipped over. No, you're on the back side. It's right there. You got it, baby? How far is Redville from Milton? So, Redville to Milton. Redville is up here at, what do you think that is? 100, you think? 110. And where did we start at? Because I wrote all over mine. 0, right? So how far? 110 miles, right? Right? 110 miles. Work out the speed of the train from the journey from Milton to Redville. How do we do that? We take 110 and we divide it by 2. So your calculator's in front of you, so go ahead and grab it. Did y'all get 55? Okay, so that's 55 miles per, doesn't even tell us the hour, right? because those are hours. So it's 55 miles per hour. Now we're going to go, how far is Leek to Redville? All right, so we decided it was 110, and if we draw our line across for Leeks, about what that is, 200? Let's say it's 200. So 200 from 110, what is that? I got 90. Y'all get a different answer? Okay, so that's 90 miles. Work out the speed of the train that journey from Redview to Leeks. Okay, what is the next thing we have to have before we can figure this out? How long it took us, right? So we started about right here, right? So that's like 7:30, right, Jerry? And then we're going to say Leeks, we got there at what, 10?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what is the difference in hours from 10 to 7, 7:30 to 10? Let's see, 8:30, 9:30, that's 2.5 hours, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to divide that by 2.5. So 90 divided by 2.50, 36. Does everybody agree? Please stop me if I'm wrong, because it could very well be. Is everybody where they're at, and are you writing it on your paper? Can you see it okay? Very good. Can you see it? I'm trying to zoom it up again. Further than it is. Okay, so let's look at the next one. The next one is question 4. Ben drove 60 kilometers from his house to Liverpool. He stopped to visit a friend, Tim, on the way. Okay, so what are we going to label here? First of all, this is distance time again, right? We know that he stopped at Tim's house, right? This right here is Tim's house, isn't it? Up here, this is Liverpool. Do we know anything else? That's it, right? This is his house. Okay. Work out Ben's speed of the first part of his journey. So he did 30, 13, and 14, which is 1 hour, right? So he traveled 1 hour. How far did he travel? 30 kilometers. So we're going to take 30 divided by 1, and what is that? 30. So that's 30 kilometers per hour. Do you understand how I did that? Remember the triangle that we have been using so far. What is that triangle? Inside your desk, you should have a dry eraser marker. I want you to draw your triangle somewhere on your window that you have. So go ahead, get your dry eraser board and just write on the window. You can write on the plexiglass.
I need a mark.
Yours is on the floor here. Here. All right, draw your triangle. What is it? Do you remember?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What goes on top? Distance. What goes on the left? Speed or velocity, right? You're going to do it on the page. Oh, page the left on it. No. Go. Speed or velocity. And what's on the right? Time. Perfect. When does it work? Use this one. Give me the red one. Thanks, this over. Want to do yours? Where's mine? Okay. Speed, distance, speed, velocity, speed or velocity over time, right? This is division. This is multiplication. Did you draw it okay on yours? Can you see it? Okay, this is going to help us. So, how long did Ben how long did Ben spend time with Tim? How long did he stay there? Well, he was there from 14 to about
2 hours.
14. Well, it wasn't really 2 hours, was it, Jerry? Because he didn't stay till 16. He stayed an hour and a half, didn't he? 1 hour and a half. Work out Ben's speed for the last part of his journey. Okay, so he started at 15 and a half, right? He ended at 17. So let's do the math there. We got 1.1 hours. Do you agree? You agree that was 1.5 hours it took him to get there? Okay. 1.5 hours for his last part of his journey. Okay. He started at 30 and he ended at, was it 60? I'm going to say 60. How long of a distance was that? 30 kilometers, right? So now I'm going to take my distance and divide it by my time. So 30 divided by 1.5. What do we get? I got 20. Did you get 20? Okay. So his speed equals 20 kilometers per hour. Does everybody see that? Okay, let's go down to the next one. Can you see the whole thing? All right. Laura goes for a cycle from her house to the post office, 4 kilometers away. So this is her house, right? This here is the post office. How long did it take Laura to cycle to the post office? Well, she started at, what do you want to say, 1:05 and ended at 1:20. How long is that? 15 minutes, isn't it? Okay, 15 minutes. Work out Laura's speed cycle to the post office. All right. Well, the distance is 0 to 4 kilometers, right? So now what we're going to do is we're trying to find speed. That's distance over time, isn't it? 4 divided by 15. So 4 divided by 15 is 0.27 kilometers per hour. Do you see how I did that? Did you do it in your calculator? Am I right? How long did Laura spend at the post office? Well, she started at, we said 11:20. She left at 1:40. How long is that? 20 minutes, isn't it? Work out Laura's speed cycling back from home. All right, first thing we want to do is we can do our distance first. So that's 4 meters, right? Or 4 kilometers is my distance. Divided by my time, let's see what we got. 12 o'clock and 11:46. What is my time for that? How long is that? How long did it take her to get back home? Well, 11:46 till 12 o'clock is 14 seconds, right? So that's 14 minutes. So 4 divided by 14 is 0.28 kilometers per hour. Is everybody good? Thank you, sir. All right. Are you ready to turn to page? Can you see it? All right. Says apply. Question 1. Eric leaves home at 11 a.m. She cycles at a speed of 16 miles per hour for 90 minutes. She stops for an hour, and then Eric then cycles home and returns at 3 o'clock. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is label her being at home at 11 o'clock, right? What time did she get back? 3 o'clock. All right. How far did she go? Well, we got 16 miles per hour in 30 minutes. How will we figure out how far she went? God, this is over my head, right? I'm going to give you a minute to look and see if you can figure it out.